Coach's Desk, fam. Welcome to the Coach's Desk again with your host, Coach Minze. Yeah, people. And as the title suggests, Demarai or Demarai Gray has been signed to Bayer Leverkusen. Yes, he will be playing alongside Leon Bailey. So, people, just waiting on some more folks to come on. Hey, man, welcome everyone. See one person logging on. Welcome, my people. Welcome. Yeah, so as usual, we'll be talking about football, and we're gonna add a little variation today because we'll be talking about the state of sports as it is now. How is it affecting? We have Jermaine, Coach Thomas coming on. Bless up yourself, Burrell. So we'll be talking about Demarai Gray move to Bayer Leverkusen to join Leon Bailey in Germany in the Bundesliga to play some football, as well as talking about sports in general. What is happening on the island in terms of sports? How is it affecting people? Is it affecting us psychologically? Are we tied down? Are we able to do the things that we want to do? Let's have a discussion on that. And we just want to keep the content as clean as possible. And also the views expressed here on the coach's desk are not necessarily of Coach Minze. All right. So, Jeremy and Thomas, welcome. Coach Thomas, welcome to the coach's desk. Good to have you again. You're muted. All right. Coach Thomas seemed to.
Oh, I was on mute. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I was saying, good day, everybody. It's a pleasure again. Sports is my life, and I take sports very, very serious. COVID-19 has really rocked us. When I say us, I'm speaking sports and sports people, sports fraternity. I mean, the sports industry. It has really rocked us hard. And I think every single person from toddlers to big people, to administrators, to athletes, everybody that have anything to do with anything in sports, physical education, must be feeling the pinch now. And it is, if you ask me, probably somewhat sad. However, I do understand everything that is going on as it relates to measures that are being put in place, people observing protocols and all of that. I do understand that. But I do feel sorry for us as a country, because other countries have have a little bit more resources than us, and they are able to react a little bit faster and a little bit better to COVID-19. We are still reeling from the effects. Schools, schools, a majority of the schools are still closed. There has been no football since March, and then the Premier League was stopped. No schoolboy football. Champs was put on hold. Every single sports you can think of was put on hold due to COVID-19. And I'm thinking that I'm really sorry though for the kids, the junior athletes. I'm thinking that we're going to have some issues going forward. But let me hope that we can get ourselves together as quick as possible. Or the government echoing some good sounds the other day, and I saw where ISA also chipped in and gave their piece. JFF as well. So and several other sporting bodies. I see champs and the local coaches again looking at alternatives, looking at other dates and stuff. So let me hope that sooner than probably later we'll get started.
Yeah, man, definitely. I do believe it is reaping havoc on many persons, especially on the psychological end. Even if persons are training right now, I do believe that they aren't motivated because there's a principle that is called principle of reversibility. If
Yeah.
you use it, you lose it. So I mean, they are just training, and no competition. That can be frustrating to the athletes. So it causes an amount of what do you
Uncertain.
call it? Endorphins or whatever to build up, if that's the correct term, in them and send the signals to the brain that are not so good. So I mean,
Okay.
it is really affecting them. Persons are way off, especially the youngsters. Like you mentioned, champs, schoolboy football. It is devastating. I mean, it is going to be very difficult even going forward to get some of these athletes motivated because they would have been training for a year now, and to see no competition was done last year. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. It's difficult even for the coaches to motivate these student athletes to get back on track, to reignite the fire that they once had. So it's really a tough process that is affecting not just sport, but overall human, and definitely this is where the sports psychologists are going to come in and definitely work some magic, so to speak, in order to get athletes ready. I do believe that the senior athletes are also affected because they were preparing for a competition that was to be held last year, and that didn't happen. They are preparing now, but I mean, some persons probably not in a all-out frame of mind because there's still uncertainty where the games are concerned. So it's a whole lot of things happening, and it's no fault of the nation's leaders. Some persons might blame them, but I mean, it's no fault to have things up and running in a timely manner. You could blame them where that is concerned, but I mean, the pandemic is still hitting. There are many things surrounding the pandemic, like what do you call that thing again? The whole injection thing of
Well, vaccination,
vaccination. Yes.
vaccine,
So
right.
there's a whole lot of things surrounding it. So it has persons' mind all over the place,
Place, yeah.
all over the place. But
But it
coach,
leads me before you go any further,
mhm.
Kevin, to probably want to ask, what could we have probably done differently in dealing with COVID in terms of getting back sports started probably a little bit sooner. Could we have done anything? I've been asking myself that. And I've heard several entities, several organizations, several persons coming out and bashing here and bashing there. But when you do look what is going on around the world, when you do look at the first world country, how they are suffering, I mean, it begs to really wonder, if we could have done any better. If you ask me, probably communication, yes, could have been a little bit different, where we would seek to have dialogue with the different um, organizations, different bodies, to probably try and find a way where could we have gone with probably the lesser sports in the sense where, let's say, for example, a table tennis or golf, or and probably there are several others that you could have gone ahead with.
But coach, as you mentioned, table tennis, they just have a situation where they're having this back and forth thing, and they just left the Supreme Court with a ruling, and the person who was in charge, the powers that be would have said that person should not be in charge. So they are also having their own problems. I understand what you're saying, because those sports are like a non-contact sports. So they wouldn't possibly be interfering with certain restriction in terms of physical distancing. So I understand what you're saying. But coach, as even yourself who coaches high school youngsters, how has that affected your youngsters that you actually deal with, those charges? How has it affected them?
Well, it's difficult, and I was having dialogue over the weekend with some members of my team, as it relates to the management team, and we are currently looking at ways in which we can quickly get these youngsters together, whether it be via Zoom, and to just communicate with them. We have been doing so via WhatsApp and phone calls, checking in and all of that. But sports wise, it is difficult, because you'd want to have youngsters probably in training on some Saturdays, on some weekends, probably working on their technical abilities, technical skills, and stuff like that. You're looking at the under 14s, the under 16s. I think they are going to suffer immensely, and they have been suffering. So it's hard building a program, not being able to play or to practice or to probably just meet with them to say, look, you can do so via Zoom, but really and truly, how many persons in Jamaica, how many of these boys are able to, let's say, access internet? Because it may look easy and simple to get internet connection, but for some it's difficult, it's hard, and some people have to probably go by a shop. I've had players saying to me that, coach, if I don't go by the road, I don't get any connection, so therefore they can't probably log on to classes. So you can just imagine a Zoom session. So it's hard, it's difficult for them, and I think psychologically they are seriously hampered, and come probably, let's say, in a couple of weeks, when we're going to restart, I mean, we would have to do some serious repair as it relates to their mentals, to really get them. They want to play, but to really get them back in a kind of frame of mind. I'm really concerned about school, about the academics. I'm really concerned about that, because they would have been out of school so long. I mean, several things are going on in the communities. We have had cases where you might have one and two boys getting involved in things that they should not be getting involved in. And it is seriously difficult, because the parents are working. Most of them are working. Some of them are not, they are left on their own as it relates to the student athletes. So they're all over the place. You know, so it's difficult, but we are definitely trying to see how best we can implement measures to try and combat this as quick as possible.
Definitely. All right, let's look at some of the comments that are in the comment section. We have Drip Entertainment saying question might be off limit, but what do you think the steps that CONCACAF or the individual federations need to take to develop football in the Caribbean? From the top of my head, I will definitely say grassroots development. You can't develop football from top down. That's the same way you can't make a house from the roof down. You have to prepare the foundation. You have to ensure that you dig according to the laws and regulations, the depth of the foundation. You have to set it a particular way. So indeed, in order to sort out football or develop football in the CONCACAF region, definitely, I do believe that it all starts at the grassroots level. That's where you develop. I believe that our youngsters are learning tactical awareness and all those stuff too late when they are in their late teens. So a youngster will not play any football, any competitive football in primary school because of where the school is located or for whatever reason. He goes to high schools in physical education class, like in the sport, develop a love for the sport, and he tries out for the under 14 team. He makes a team under 16 and right up throughout the Docosta or Maninco. That is not development. That is just some youngsters being put into a game situation or a competitive situation where they have a little aptitude, they have the basics. But when it comes on to awareness, when it comes on to tactics, system of play, our players don't necessarily understand that. So that is telling me now we need to get some coaches. We could utilize some clinics, get some overseas, even past players to come, have some clinics, run some clinics. You could also look at getting the coaches qualified at the grassroots level, because you don't want to tell persons to head the ball with the side of their head when they should actually use their forehead. You know what I mean? Also, development of some surfaces. The surfaces are an issue. You're not going to develop football if we have poor playing surfaces. You understand? So that would be some of the things that they could do, they could look into to ensure that footballers are developed and that they are exported. No, mark you, this region is not short of talent. Very talented, if you ask me. The reservoir is wide and large, but the developmental process, the infrastructural process is off. And until that is looked into, we're not going to be going further than we are in terms of being a competitive federation in world of football. So, moving on. Paula Donaldson, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Patrick Riley, CONCACAF just announced last night the new Champions League format starting in 2023. Think that good for the region? Definitely it is a good look for the region. So it's not anything that it is only for us. The format is actually what the Europeans are using, the European Champions League. So it's a good format. Will it work? We're not certain. Will it produce players? We're not certain. Let us see what will happen from this or how it will unfold. Jamaica LOL. You can't start nothing without money. You can't take boy from his house and can't feed him needs sponsored. Quite so. I agree with that. So I think it's because in Europe, sports can be put over academics. And in the Caribbean, we don't have a lot of time for sports, and we put more time in our day to academics. Yes, and that's a very good point. So the youngsters who are talented have to be balancing the academics with the sports. And sometimes they are even given a hard time, parents telling them, take up your book, focus on your book. And sometimes, many times, these athletes that are very talented, most, if not all of them, their parents can't afford to send them to university. And these are some of the youngsters that get scholarship, move on to play football for whatever sport, do track and field, and they are able to gain an education, which is paramount. So there are a lot of variables in sorting out this issue in the Caribbean. We can't compare ourselves with Europe, because when you look at infrastructure, when you look at money, they far supersede. When you look at talent, I don't believe that they are more talented, but when it comes down to infrastructure, that everything is in, the machinery is up and running, so that these players and the persons can be developed. You probably have an under par person, not so good, but because of being in the academy daily and learning the game, which is the academic part of it. So if you're not smart, you won't be able to understand the whole academic part of sports, especially football. So understand what you're saying, Borel Dad. Who is the best player right now playing locally? Who wants to answer that question? Who wants to answer that question? Andrew, I doubt it right now. I doubt it that he is currently doing that. But I mean, he would be possibly putting in his own physical. So Demarai Gray is off to Bayer Leverkusen to join Leon Bailey. What say you? Do you think it's a good move for the youngster, the former Leicester City man? He's eligible to play for the Reggae Boys. Do you think that Leon Bailey will actually whisper to Demarai so that he would make that decision, because he's a bit indecisive at the moment? So do you think that, or you believe that Leon can influence him? He's a very good youngster, very good football player. From my estimation, he should have been further than he is. But you know, sometimes players have hiccups along the journey. But I mean, I don't believe that will stop him. 24 years old, he will definitely progress further in his career. So, yeah, man, we have Coach Thomas joining us back. He was on. Apparently, he got disconnected for whatever reason, and he's now back on. So, Jamaica LOL said that Bailey will get to Demarai. We hope so. But I mean, we're not certain. One question I might ask, are we trying to get too many of the same type of players? Is that the case? Coach Thomas, are you there? I can freeze out again. All right. Yeah, so people, yeah, that is true. That is true. We need our best squad. But it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. We need the best players, and we are actually scouting the best of the best. Yeah, definitely. As someone said, he was actually playing with Wes Morgan at one point, and Wes Morgan possibly spoke to him, but in terms of getting into his head, he's harboring the thoughts nonetheless. But I mean, he has not made up his mind to date. Ravel has not found a club. We are not certain what is happening. That's the update that we have on him. So that's basically that. Isaac Aiden, from my understanding, yes, from my understanding, Leonard, things are pretty close. Pretty close. Things are in works to get the necessary documents for Isaac. So we just want to continue to do this in the moment while things work out. Definitely. He will definitely be a good addition, playing a position that we have been lacking in for a number of years. A number of years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, since Theodore Whitmore, Fitzroy Simpson, I don't think we have found that edge when it comes on to CDM. We've been having challenges with that position for quite some time. So, this player Gray, it will be interesting to see him suit up in the national colors. Definitely, definitely. And pretty interested. He's pretty interested, but he's kind of indecisive at the moment. We hope, like we say, Leon will get to him and he will be playing some football for the Reggae Boys. Coach, you're back.
Hey man, sorry about that. Having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, man, and that's a challenge with this type of system.
Right, right.
Imagine the youngsters out there now.
Well, you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes. So we were talking about Demarai Gray, coach. Do you believe that he should make that decision? Do you believe that Leon Bailey will influence him down there at Bayer Leverkusen so that he'll get into the team?
Again, tricky, very very tricky situation. If you ask me, I think Demarai would be a good addition to the Reggae Boys, solid addition. But there are concerns, and there are some concerns with Demarai. I think personally, his agent, I can imagine, should be weighing their pros and cons. Um, England is beckoning somewhere there, and no Southgate may be looking or should be looking in his direction because I think he's an exciting talent. Um, would be I think a good addition to England as well. But why this is so tricky is that England I think is just overstaffed at this time. They have loads
Of talent.
of talent, and not only talent but explosive talent.
Yeah.
Probably youngsters breaking through the different teams, and the youngsters are playing. If you note carefully, they are playing right around the world in top clubs, and plus you have the more senior players, people like Sterling and some others. So it is going to be tricky. Grealish, they're doing a whole heap of work as well.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Huh?
Saka.
Right. And those guys are working hard. I think Mason Mount is there as well. Mason Mount is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So guess what? I think he will be a good addition to the team. Yes, but I know every youngster in England that is eligible to play for England would be yearning to play for England. So it is going to be a little bit tight on Jamaica's side. No, can Bailey really cause him to change his mind? Um, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that because when it comes down to football, it's all about you making your own decision that will benefit your career. So 'cause I think it's about what 20 what now 20. I think it's what 20 what 25 there about Demarai Gray. How old is Demarai Gray again?
23.
23 years old. So I think best bet if England doesn't call Demarai Gray and Jamaica, let's say, get into the final round of the World Cup qualifiers are moving on to the World Cup, then I'm thinking that Jamaica stand a better chance of seeing Demarai. But for the qualifiers for Gold Cup, in my opinion, don't think he will come just yet. I think he will wait on that England call.
Okay. All right. Well said. I tend to agree with you. It's gonna be a tough because right now, persons that have been talking to him, he knows what is happening. I do believe that he's waiting to see his chances with the England team, and that's the reason why he's indecisive right now. So I mean, you can't bash the youngster for that because as an athlete, you're going to want to be looking at the bigger picture. Because
Yeah.
if a Nike comes to you with a contract or an Adidas, then you'd have to weigh the option and see which deal is going to be the best one for you. Then you make your decision based on what they would have put out for you. So I do believe the option is there for him to play for England. He's waiting to see it. But you know what sometimes happen, though, Coach Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
The English Federation knows the threat of Jamaica, you know. So what they do, they oftentimes call up these players, give them a 1 and 2 caps, and then after a while leave them out in the wilderness.
And they've done it in the past to probably
Yes,
several players. So
yes.
so my thing is, will Damari play? If he goes to England, will he play and how often he will play?
That's the question.
Does he um fits in with the coach's system in terms of how he wants? Is he that type of player? So he would have to make those decisions, evaluate the entire situation, and decide: should I go to Jamaica? I'll be rubbing shoulders with Leon Bailey. I'll be rubbing shoulders with Shamar Nicholson. Um, what's his name again from Manchester United again? Ravel Morrison, Johnson, Blake, several others. So will I be playing 90 minutes? Will I be playing 80, 70 versus England might be playing in a European Cup or a in a Euro Cup or match or a World Cup qualifier, and I might not make the 18. What will I do? How will I approach it?
Yeah.
So I think it's a big move on his part. Big move. Let's say Jamaica starts and then get knocked out. What happens? At 25, what happens? My team not playing in the World Cup. What do I do? So I think it's like a rock and a hard stone for him.
You're perfectly right there. And it's gonna be tough. But I see Coach where there has been a transfer in the Premier League, in the National Premier League.
It's our Premier League, right?
Yes, that's the Jamaican Premier League. I see that there has been a transfer of a foreigner into our league. Um, I I believe he's a defender, central defender. He has joined Cavalier.
Okay.
Yes, trying.
Which
He's from Saint Lucia, I believe. Trying to
okay.
find the correct name, so that people out there can know that if football starts, there'll be a new addition to.
And I think all fairness to our local football, the clubs, most of the clubs have been doing a lot in terms of preparation. Now, a lot of people might not know this, but in all fairness to them, they have been doing a lot. And I think when we get some football, because we are going to get football this year, but when we get, just not sure as yet, but I think it is closer than you and I may even think. It is going to be exciting. I'm just a little bit concerned about the preparatory preparation time, because the games are going to come quick and fast. So I'm just not sure our guys will be ready physically. For some clubs are better prepared than some, and are they're in higher gear than some at this time. But I'm looking forward for some excitement. You would have seen where Dumbo Holding, would have gone into the market, and the people like Tremaine Stewart and a couple of others from UE. Um, Kemai would have been there from last year. Kemai Atkinson played at UE. He would have been at Dumbo Holding from last year. He's still there, and a
Mhm.
couple of other players are still there. So I think there would be would have been one of the aging team in the competition now, and based on what I'm hearing, they are going for the title. They have been working hard. They have been extremely organized. They have
That's the
added more.
Rolling team.
Yes, man. They have added more bodies to their coaching staff. Uh,
Okay.
Right. So they are going for whatever title, whatever competition is played this year. They are going for the title. Arnett, I think, is trapped with loads of young players. There are a lot of guys coming over from Wolmer's that did well in the Manning Cup. That went to the semi-finals of the Manning Cup with Wolmer's in 2019. So I'm expecting to see a good showing from them. Kemar, what's his name? Last name again? Tull. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I remember his last name, but he showed good promise last year. He was called up to the national team based on his performances in the Premier League last year. Scored some goals. He was really looking like his old self, like when he was at St George's playing Manning Cup. He dominated there, and you could see signs of Kemar Malcolm, you know, coming back last year. So he's there. Good young cast around him, and coach Alex doing some good work with them. And of course, I heard that Peart is also there. I'm not sure just yet, but I heard from good source that he's also there. Would need to probably confirm confirm on that. But they should be in business. Portmore, as usual, extremely organized. Have been training very, very hard. Good structure in terms of coaching staff, backroom staff. So I'm thinking that they are going to do well. Waterhouse, as usual. Again, we saw them earlier earlier this year with the Asian team. Wasn't one of their better showing, but at the end of the day, with Coach Fuzzy and his experience, I think they're going to come to the forefront. So it is going to be interesting. Cavaliers, again, a youthful bunch, exciting. Would have been in contention the season before. Last year, probably 2019, probably wasn't a good one. 2019, 2020 probably wasn't a good one for them. But they have reorganized. They have gotten in some more youngsters. So I'm thinking again, we can look for good things coming from that side. Above you, as usual, again, loads of talent. Coach Ludlow Bernard going for the youngsters. And we saw where several Maninka players from KC and 1 and 2 from JC as well and Woolmans are in training there, and they are doing very well, and they have been preparing quite a while now. So I'm expecting to see good things coming from the league this year. It will be abbreviated, but we do understand why. But I'm expecting to see good things. They have been getting sponsorship. So persons, I think, won't be able to complain again about money or sponsorship or whatever the case may be, because they have been getting sponsorship. So kudos again to the JFF. All right, they have really worked hard in terms of getting monies and getting persons in some critical positions where they can be trusted by corporate Jamaica. Corporate Jamaica can now buy and believe into their product. So I think the sky's the limit for the Premier League. I'm just yearning for it. Really want to see it. Can't wait. Just to be home, sitting down, watching a game on TV. Digicel again pumped millions over a 2 year period, or will be pumping millions over a 2 year period in their program. So I think you know the sky is going to be the limit for our local Premier League based on the structure that I am seeing now. In all my years in football, this would have been one of the best structure thus far. So I'm just waiting to see how it materialize and what will happen.
Definitely, coach. And also, Mount Pleasant Academy would have pumped some
Yes,
some,
yes,
some,
yes.
some, some funds into the league as well.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
persons
Yeah,
might
go ahead, man.
be saying that it's a conflict of interest, but I mean, if they're doing something to ensure that the league is up and running, then that's kudos to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, the player I was talking about that has joined Cavalier is a 23-year-old defender by the name of Melvin Doxley.
Okay.
Yeah. So he transferred from he has transferred from Morvan Caledonia United, and that's in the St. Lucia league. So
So I think that argues again well for us. It would not be the first time we're attracting international players or players from neighboring.
Anthony Modest played.
Right, came and way back then, Latapi, I think, came as well, and we would have had probably one or two more. And last year, Arne Gardens had about two or three Caribbean nationals. So it's a good look for the program, and I'm hoping that this youngster has quality. And I'm thinking that Rodolph would not have gone for somebody that is limited in this area as it relates to quality.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it should be good. It should definitely um, work well for the program. So I'm hoping that probably others will see what is going on, and then opt to probably join our local Premier League.
Right. Definitely. All right. So with that said, coach,
Mm-hmm.
what sort of version of the league do you think will happen? Will it be a knockout format, a one-off game,
Um,
one-round game in terms of playing each team?
we're going to get home and away games. So we're looking at 2 rounds. I'm thinking 2 rounds, and as I said earlier, it would be abbreviated. It is going to be shortened significantly. But importantly, we must, and I'm going to say must. But what I was hearing today, then probably provide a little bit or create a little bit of doubt in the minds of probably the Ministry of Health officials,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Ministry of Sports, because today we had the most cases in a day. Today we had over, I think it was 200 and something cases in 24 hours, in the last 24 hours. And that would have been the highest, I think, from March.
Oh,
200 and a lot. So it is a sharp spike, sharp spike. So this is going to raise concerns again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to be probably a little stick, a little injection, a little COVID vaccine, if I may say that, in the legs of the stakeholders. So I think it is going to be worrying times ahead. But I think if the process is managed properly, if clubs are serious about this, if the government is serious, if the Ministry of Sport is really serious about this, we can get it off the ground. But a lot will be heavily dependent upon the Premier League clubs
Mm-hmm.
in terms of managing training sessions. Spectators would normally come and watch. Look at a place like Arnett Gardens. They normally have big showing of spectators when they are
Yeah.
training. However, the place is properly fenced and properly secure. So I mean they can easily lock off. Water's pretty much the same. Yui pretty much the same. Cavaliers trained around by Santos. Probably one or two concerns there. But I'm sure Spanner and them guys over there would have put measures in place to try and avoid any kind of issues that will cause problem. So it is going to be tricky. I think after next week, we will watch COVID a little bit to see what is going on, and then I think by the end of February, first week of March, we should have a competition pending the numbers go down.
Right, right. All right, so let's run through some of these comments here. Coach Paul Ellis said that's great. Him now get no game for England. You have Foden, Sancho, Rashford, Sterling, Grealish, Greenwood. Yeah. So he probably is way down the pecking order. You know what I mean? Next comment, Crazy Norris said, I think that Ivan Toney is the best striker Jamaica has. Need better CB in the back line, like Hector is not good. That is not clear, but I understand what he's saying. We don't really need Ivan Toney. We have Kemar Roof, Andre Gray, Boza, which is Shamar Nicholson. Is a central defensive midfielder we really need in Isaac Aiden. I agree with that statement. The latter part saying that we need Isaac Aiden. I do believe that we need that player to add some impetus to our team there in the middle of the park. Kemar Roof is the best striker right now. You were saying that JFF, we should thank JFF for what they did in terms of the sponsorship. Michael Gordon said it should be the Players Association that you should be thanking rather than the JFF.
Mm-hmm. But Speed, Rudolph Speed is a part of the JFF. And he would have, along with other members of the JFF, I mean, put a solid team in place. So it's kind of hard not to give credit. I mean, you'd have to beat JFF, when they're in the red. But I think it is good to give them credit if they deserve it.
Yeah. All right. Big up Ryan LFC. So all persons who wants to talk about Liverpool, who wants to know about what is happening with Liverpool, you can check out Ryan LFC. That man talk about Liverpool. So you can check him out. Moving on to another comment. Oh, somebody was saying, Jamaica LOL was saying that we also had Brazilians in our league at one point as well. So
Right.
always had influx of, I think, Central American players.
Mm-hmm. Brazilian, also well. Africans. We had Rivali United.
Yes.
Right, and Rivali had a Bajan again as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have had some players. I mean, from right around the world.
Right.
But,
Go ahead.
but it's tricky, and I'm going to say this on record. I think we ought to be careful as it relates to. No, don't get me wrong. The overseas players will add a lot to our squad. Don't get me wrong. But going into to competitions and major tournament, one of the most important thing as it relates to team performance is chemistry, and we cannot go around that. So I think the onus is going to be on tap on the technical staff to look at the players we would have been using over the last 2 years or a year and a half and so. The teams that have been playing the last couple of practice games, the more senior players, and to find suitable additions. Because you can over recruit and then experimenting, and then you get yourself in trouble. And if you look at the setup of the World Cup qualifiers, there will be limited amount of time. So the experiments, I am not for that now. What I would support is looking at the areas in which you need high levels of competencies that you would not have in Jamaica, or are locally, or are in your squad before, and see if we can get suitable additions. Too much can be problem, and too little can also be problem. So everybody, right, everybody will want to come now. And I don't have a problem, let me say it clearly again, I don't have a problem with overseas players joining us, because the wealth of experience that they would add to the team, probably second to none. But we must be careful, extremely careful, and I'm warning up against this, of over recruiting.
Yes.
I'm warning against that.
All right. So David Nicholson said Isaac Aiden has started the process for his paperwork. That is good news. Ivan Toney is not necessarily best. We need some steel in midfield. Roof, Bailey, and Reed would be our current front three in terms of availability. Michael Gordon said again, speediest, but it is not the ranking head who negotiated or sought the sponsors. JFF failed miserably since this new administration came in. Our home or local players do not play with our international prospect. Ryan LFC, welcome to the coach's desk. It's good to have you on our show today, man.
What's up, people? I'm doing good, man. Thank you very much, coach. Both of you guys to have me on the panel. I really appreciate you guys. All the panel has been doing. Continue to keep up the great work, coach, man.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Big up yourself.
Respect, Ryan.
All right. So moving on with some more comments, Ryan. You can just listen, and then whenever you feel to share your thoughts, you can just chime in. All right. Obey United had some Bahamian, man, St. Floor, a lot of persons from Island, Africa, Brazil, Central America. They would have played Premier League in Jamaica. So yeah, we actually agreed with that. All right, so basically, all right, so we cut off on the comments now. So Ryan LFC, what do you think about football not being played in Jamaica right now?
Well, we see we have the pandemic, and we know Jamaica is not a first world country. The people who are dealing in football, they have to just be patient. I know it's a league we're bringing in a lot of revenue for a lot of players, and I know the JFF and the PSL probably have on some sponsorship where they don't want to lose because of this pandemic, and it's a sticky situation because when you look at how many cases we have in Jamaica, and we know most of these clubs in Jamaica is not professionally run properly, that the government can really say, okay, we can trust Anik Gardner, certain people in the venue going to wear masks and sanitize and all of them stuff there. It's a sticky situation because playing football in Jamaica, I think it's just going to hike up. the corona. Cause player moving from parish to parish and all of them stuff there. So
Yeah.
that's one of the main thing the health government has been looking at. That's why they don't give them the green light yet.
Yeah, and as Coach Thomas said, there's something that is very alarming right now because in the past 24 hours or the last 24 hours, there has been over 200 and odd cases. That has been the highest since COVID has been in Jamaica. So that is something very alarming right now. So definitely it would be, putting back the sporting thing down the pecking order where our resumption is concerned. So it's gonna be a tough ask, but we trust that for whatever reason, sports is not played. I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But we hope that we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope and pray that some football will be played, some sports will be played, because it's very hard on some persons. Some persons they really don't have a lot to do, and the sports is what keep them going, especially the experienced people. So
but Kevin, Kevin, this is work for some people.
yes,
This is work, and not only for players, but for coaches. This is work for them, and they deserve it. They deserve it. It's a job. It's a job like anybody else. Like anybody else, it's a job. It's their job, and we do understand that. So we definitely want them to play, but again, it's both sides, and we have to look at it that way. Both sides kind of tricky health wise, but again, let us take a good look, put some good things in place. I want football to play. Don't get me wrong. I want football to play. Don't get me wrong. I want football to play. But it's tricky. Really, really tricky. And we know our people. We know in discipline we can be. All right. But if we can sort ourselves out, put some solid things in place, I want football to be played. But if not, chaos. And we want to avoid the chaos.
yes. All right, so this is what David Nicholson is saying. We're going to run through some more comments, Coach Thomas. I don't see any locals except goalkeepers making the core that will usually play. Anyone can say our current locals are good enough to be playing consistently for us. So that's a question David is throwing out there for the other folks on set.
Question, go again, question.
All right, there it is on the screen. He's saying that the only persons who are going to make the cut are the goalkeepers. And is there anyone who can tell him of current local players who are good enough to be playing consistently in the team?
So when we speak about local players, I need to know if we're talking locals as those as it relates to those that are playing locally in Jamaica, or the ones that were there before.
Yes, that's a very good question, Coach. Sorry to interject. That's a very good question because some time ago we were on a set like this and persons were saying local based player, local based. A lot of the persons who ply their trade in Jamaica and then transfer overseas, they are not called local players again.
Right.
The locals that you're talking about are the ones who play in the local Premier League. So I believe that's what David is saying.
So which local goalkeeper? But if he means that, if he's talking about that, all right? No, I'm just wondering which local goalkeeper or which goalkeeper would have locally that would make that squad. Because I don't think we have one single goalkeeper that is keeping for the 12 Premier League club that can make that squad. I don't think so. So I need him to just clarify what he's saying so I can provide him with an answer.
So David, you have that to clarify for Coach Summers. All right. Karika Powell every big company in Jamaica should be sponsoring every level of football in the country. That's a good point, but will they be doing that? Is the league attractive enough to have these persons pumping their monies into the league? Dan Frasser is saying big ups to Coach Thomas and Coach's desk. Let me see what David is saying again. But you know, all the players available, that is something I actually do know to a very large extent. There are a lot of players out there. However, not all of them will be playing for the Reggae Boys. Many of them are linked to the Reggae Boys, but not all will be playing for the Reggae Boys. And we have to get that straight up right away. Not all of them will make the cut. Not all of them will be interested. You know what I mean? So, definitely. Now, will the Jamaica Premier League remain with all the team that was there? No team go down? That's a very good question, Paul Ellis. We need to get some information for that in terms of which team going down. David Nicholson said again, like Mr. King said, talent won't thrive without the right nurturing, especially in CONCACAF. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Definitely. Let me see another comment. Omar, it's the same cycle every time. We wait until World Cup qualifier to test out players. Recruit players that's really not needed. No type of chemistry. Every 4 years, it's the same thing. We cannot get out of it. Coach Thomas, you want to address that issue? I think it's a solid point that he's making there, but do I agree with it? I am not certain if I agree with it, but I'm going to leave that one for Coach Thomas to talk about. Now, local players, that is Sound Beast official. Local players are technical and fit enough. The Jamaican Premier League needs development. If we're going to make it to the World Cup, we need the overseas players. Aiden is key right now. Agreed.
Yes, Kevin, you were saying earlier?
Yes, Omar is saying that he can't understand why this cycle continues for the World Cup qualifier. Wait until that time period to test the players. It's like we recruit players every 4 years when it's World Cup qualifier.
All right, you see, it's again tricky, and because there are several factors that surrounds recruiting of players. 4 years ago, Gray would have been probably 19, 18. All right?
Mm-hmm.
He would have been in an academy. His focus would have been there, or his dream would have been to play for England. But at the same time, the JFF should be scouting, talking to people, making connections from them time. So if you ask me, no, it's too late. But it's tricky looking at the JFF, looking at an England-born player and saying to them at 18, 19, Jamaica is there, we needed to come and play. They will say yes, or they will think about it, but really and truly in the back of their heads, I'm not coming.
But coach, very good point. Very good point. I like the point. But at the same time, a lot of times these players are approached when they're young.
True, and that is where I'm not.
Some of them show interest from that time, but oftentimes, possible when they are given to the JFF, they are not interested in that type of player at that time. And then the process of getting them the paperwork takes a long period of time. So you have like a Ravel Morrison, almost 8 years ago, he was contacted by the recruiter. You know what I mean? But he wasn't contacted by the relevant powers that be. So that would have caused the delay of him being in the team. We had to wait until 2020 to have him in the team. So you have to look on those variables as well that contribute to these players not getting a chance even in their teens.
And some players will wait to see if, for example, are they going to have a Leon Bailey? Are they going to have a Ravel Morrison? Who, if I come to Jamaica, who am I going to be playing with?
True.
What kind of structure are they going to have in place? Am I good enough to make England team? Well, let me wait and see. I don't want to commit. What if I commit early to Jamaica and then have this big move in England and leave from Championship to Premier League? You probably score 15 or 16 goal as a youngster, committed to Jamaica, and then England knocking at the door and say, "Boy, if you never commit so early, you could be playing alongside Raheem Sterling and the others." So there are several factors. There are factors like money.
Which is
Are you going to give me $1,500 or $2,000 to come and play?
But sorry, let me stop you again. You believe that these players who are playing in those clubs who are better paid than the national team, you think they are going to be so much worried about the amount of money that they get? That is a part of the negotiation, yes. But you think that will deter them from making that decision?
You see, the moment the bar in the professional world, the moment the bar is lowered, you're going to have issues. The moment the bar is lowered. So these players are accustomed to communicating and operating at a certain level. The moment you pull them into a room in Jamaica and say to them, "Boy, we don't have it, we don't have this," immediately start sending signals in their heads. And should I come back? Do I tell somebody else to come to Jamaica now? What do I do? So several variables, several factors, but you'd have to really take your time, put everything in context, and make the best decision possible when it comes on to the overseas players. For me, as I said before, we ought to be careful of over recruiting. We ought to be careful of that.
I agree with you.
Because these players, hold on, these players, if let's say, for example, we have a large influx of overseas players come, they don't make it to the World Cup. Will they come back and play for us against Cuba, against Trinidad and Tobago, against Barbados? I'm not sure about that. So these are some things we should look at. That is what I'm saying. We need to have some locals because they're important in moving forward. All right, go ahead.
You're right. You're right. Remember, Marlon King said that many of these clubs, when they are called up for national duty, the clubs tell them to say that to tell them that you're injured, so that it will save you the time of making that trip, because sometimes they don't see it as important
to play Martinique.
Exactly. So it is important that the local players are in the squad, but how many of them? And David Nichols was actually talking about in the local league, Coach Thomas.
In the local league. Presently, we don't have a lot. We saw where Tull made a cut to Saudi Arabia recently. I think Kemar Beckford is a special talent, but was not given the opportunity early enough. I think when during the Schaefer era, as a youngster, he should have been looked at a lot more often. He was not given the opportunity. As a result of that, he's 28, 29, no problem. Good talent, won't make the cut, I think, the final cut, but you need a local base to drive the local side of the program. So it's good to recruit overseas. It's good to get additional players coming in who are at higher levels technically and tactically. It's good to have them. But in order to, when you're building a program in the third world country, some balance has to be struck. So you need to get your local players up and running, because why will they be playing the Premier League anyways? For what? To get 30 and 40 and $60,000 for the month, or $80,000 for the month? What are they playing for? What kind of incentives? What are the rewards of playing the league? Just to playing sake? So you have to give them something to aim at.
Coach, I am one who holds this point and this stance that we need to develop the local players. But right now, we don't have players that are developed in such a way so that we can have a team for the competitions that are coming up, the Gold Cup, the World Cup qualifiers.
But Kevin, I might say to you, Jamaica went to the last Gold Cup finals with loads of local based players.
Where are they?
A couple of them were playing like in USL and stuff like that, but they were just coming out of the Premier League. They're just coming out of the Premier League.
Yes, huh? I understand, but they were playing in the United States League, which is the MLS.
But they were
local players who played the trade at a Harborview, at a Dublin Olden, at a Portmore United.
No, you had local players in that team. Players that played locally, you had them in that team.
Yeah, no, I'm saying how many?
I'd have to check. I know Morrison was there, I think. That's Morrison from Portmore was there. But majority of the team, I think, played in the USL and some other parts. Yeah. But you had local players.
Those are not the local players I'm talking. Those are local bred players who were
flying their trade overseas. Right. But I would have to look back at the squad. I'm not sure now. But I know we have issues as it relates to tactical awareness and some technical competencies with our local players. But I will advocate for them and continue to advocate for them, because I know you have talent in Jamaica at the local level that look at Anglin. That he's on his way to Miami FC now.
So he's no longer a local player?
No, but I'm just saying he made a team playing locally, Jamaican team playing locally. He played in Saudi Arabia. He played against one of them teams down in Montego Bay in the Nations League. So Peter Lee Vassell played locally as well and made national team from the local leagues. So yeah, we do have talent and we do have exceptions. However, if you say we have 10, 15 or 20, I will say no.
And that's my point.
I will say
the point I'm making. So when you look at it now, persons will always be referring to the Rene Simons era when we qualified for the World Cup, which is a total different thing from what is happening now. No, we had the local players. They were playing in the league, but because many of them weren't being exported at that time, they could have had the chemistry working together. Simons would have been able to work with them throughout the time that they are here on the island.
Right.
But if you notice, the team still lacked cutting edge. And that's why they went for the English-based players. So yes, we were doing well with the local players, but there came a point that we had to get some cutting edge. And I do believe that the overseas-based players, whether they are transferred from the local Premier League to the league, then those players are important pieces to the team going forward.
No, we definitely need the help, because USA, Mexico, Germany, they are doing this. France, they are doing this. Mbappe is from where? Mbappe from somewhere in Africa. He's currently playing for France. You understand? So we need this. But I'm just saying that in building a program, in building our local product, we must strike a balance somewhere. I'm not saying that 80%, 70% of the team are 50 or 40, but a clear avenue should be there. If a local player is good enough, he should be called up to the squad. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, good.
Schaefer, I think, approached it the wrong way, and that, I think, crippled some of our local players because they never really played while he was here.
All right, yes. Let us look on a few more of the comments. The comments are coming in quick and fast.
Nice.
All right, so Jamaica LOL, England not going to pick no one that is not playing in the top 4 team in their league. So that's a point that he's making, that, I mean, they are picking their players from the top players in their league. Also, they are going to ensure that the players that are based outside of England, they are going to get those players to play for them, for their team. So it's going to be tough for any locals if they're not at the big clubs like a Manchester United, a Arsenal, a Tottenham, a Liverpool. You know what I mean? They are not going to be considered.
So if Grealish finishes 6th, he will not be considered. Grealish from Aston Villa.
Yeah, but you have top 6 now, so definitely.
But I'm just saying. What's the name of the Everton striker again? The Everton striker.
Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin. What if they finish 7th? What if Arsenal finishes at 10th? What are they going to do? So it's tricky again and again when it comes down to situations like these. It just all depends. But
in other words, it is debatable, and there are many variables that one
right. But look here, I think people seriously underestimating, and I think persons is underrated. But look here, Shamar Nicholson did well last year, the first year in Slovenia. Has been doing well as it relates to goal scoring this year. Gone, I think, 7 or 8 goals so far in Belgium. And yet still, people tend not to give him, a lot of credit. But I think he's a good striker. Probably some work needs to be done, like any other footballer in the world. He has been developing and he has been maturing and really learning, and he's playing in Belgium. I think 8 or 7 goals already. All right?
Yeah. All right.
I think we should give this player some time.
Somebody will call you out to no coach.
All right?
Some of these officials look like him know you. Him say, based on your argument of the local players' inclusion, who would you call up right now? At least 5 local players.
Off the bat,
goalkeeper has to be included.
Goalkeeper?
Yes, has to be included.
Tight. The one from Umberland that they carried, he got stuck in England because of COVID. He's competent goalkeeper. I don't remember his name.
Is it White?
I think so.
JD?
Not JD, man.
Okay.
Not JD. Tull. Good chap. So if you're going to have a 30-man squad,
man, their real name, man. What kind of Tull? Everybody don't know who is Tull.
Kemar Malcolm. Tull Malcolm. And of course, Beckford from Mount Pleasant. Good, damn good youngster. Anglin is now on his way to Miami FC, but Anglin would have just left Harborview. So Anglin would have been another local pick. All right. I'm just trying to scope through, but you do have. I know I can find five. I know I can find five.
But you struggle, coach.
There's a player out by Mullines by the name of Fakibi Farkison. Good,
I know
solid,
that name.
good talent. Good talent.
The issue me have with this entire
Well,
topic.
hold on. Welcome to the fourth official row.
You're the man ready to shoot. The man ready to shoot.
Yeah, man, I'm giving you introduction now. Welcome to the show, Rome. And the people, please log on to the fourth official YouTube channel if you want to talk about Manchester United. You know what I mean? We're budget right here.
See that?
Yeah, man. All right, so what are you saying now, Rome?
Manners. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Yes.
We'll start off with that. But yeah, the issue that I have really with this whole local BSP topic is, if you look at, you mentioned France earlier and the players that France have, and every other team across the world basically, except for maybe for England, all of their players play somewhere else. They developed in their country and they play somewhere else. Mbappe was born in France to African parents.
Right.
Same thing was Pogba, and Zidane was born in France to parents from, I think, Sudan or something like that, somewhere in Africa. So the point that when you say local players, regardless of all of the guys that are playing overseas now, they started playing and being developed in Jamaica. So they're still, to me, considered local players, because if you look at Pogba doesn't play in France, Mbappe does, but Griezmann doesn't play in France. You see what I'm saying? They started playing in France. Pogba's never played in France ever, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, these men are still considered, in my mind, local-based players, because of the fact that they started in Jamaica and built a trade in Jamaica and then they move overseas, right? You mentioned one of the comments was that England doesn't pick anybody outside of the top four. And we can name 3 people right now. Nick Pope, they're in an England team every day.
No, who said that?
One of the comments that England no pick them.
Oh, in the comment section.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, man like Nick Pope, Jack Grealish finished last almost fourth, third from bottom last year, right? You have the Everton players, Calvert-Lewin, the keeper from Everton. Pickford, yeah. The right back where
Ings. What happened to Ings?
Danny Ings, yeah.
Right.
You understand? So England, remember.
England, but hold on, Rome. Remember your point. Very good point you're making, Very good point you're making. However, I believe that sometimes the English press has a lot to do with some of these players getting into the team, because the English press pressure them. Get me Jack Grealish get a game,
No, here how come Jack Grealish get a game, and I don't understand Jack Grealish get a game because Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden, they go out with them foolishness, so them go up on international duty. So Jack Grealish never get called up no time at all, which everybody was saying Jack Grealish needed to get a call.
But he was going to get the call because of the media, the press pressure.
No, when them call him up after him get rid of Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden out of the team, the next game him call up Jack Grealish, and even then him still wasn't playing. And then the press come in and ask like, why is Jack Grealish not playing? And him clearly better than man like Mason Mount, right? Man like Mason Mount are playing, Jack Grealish not playing. So come the press pressure the coach, and then Jack Grealish come on and prove to them and show them, say, listen, he's actually better than all of these man. It's just because he's not playing for a bigger team. Well, I understand, say you play for a bigger team, yes, the pressure is higher and the chances are they pick you more than they pick the other guys, right? But to say that England no pick, players from other teams across England, it's a fallacy, because James Ward-Prowse, that the man they play for a team will get 9, 2 times in like 2 years, and he still get called up for the squad. So it's not a situation where once you're good enough, you will play. And
But look at Declan Rice. Look at Rice. Rice finished where last season. Like
Declan Rice a baller.
Right.
So I think honestly, when you look at the Jamaican overseas, I think once they started in Jamaica and playing in Jamaica, they should not be considered overseas. Man like Dean Burton, whenever got Jamaica until they call him in. The man they are overseas based player. You understand? Man like I wouldn't even consider Liam Bailey a overseas based player because Liam Bailey get him started in Jamaica as a young youth and then him talent bring him over and plus him connections bring him over. I think Liam Bailey is a Jamaican player overall. Man like Dick Gray, we never go Jamaica from him bar.
Overseas
player that. You understand? Yeah. So when you talk about
but hey, before we get it wrong doing it Rome. We said some of these players have not been to Jamaica from them born, and some of them come when them only get called up. That is far from the truth, you know. Some of these players are in Jamaica every summer, you know.
Right.
Every day, you know.
Yeah, vacationing players them. I'm talking about like, all right, so think about it this way, right? Players that don't have the option for play for another country, right? Remember, if Liam Bailey did have the option, Liam Bailey would have played for Belgium. You know?
Or England.
Right now,
or England.
England. If he did have the option, he would have played for one of them right now. But he don't have that option because he's a Jamaican citizen. You understand? And he never get the citizenship from where he did a stay. Think about man like Deco. Deco decided to play for Portugal instead of Brazil. Remember Deco used to play for Chelsea?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That the man that decided to play for Portugal instead of Chelsea. Instead of Brazil. Because he can't make Brazil side.
But the Brazilian striker, there's a Brazilian striker that played for Spain as well.
Yeah, Diego Costa. Right.
Yeah, right.
And then you think back and look and I remember you talking about Graders a while ago. And then in the comment section we mentioned him said 4 years ago Grady that win the Premier League with Leicester, you know. I think exactly 4 years ago today he might win the Premier League with Leicester.
2016, yeah?
Yes, so if the JFF they go to him and say, yo, more I come play for my squad. He would have tell him to jog on. Me I go play for
England. You crazy? England.
I mean I win the Premier League. You think he would have go make that? If you think about it, all of the ballers we have over the years will come from overseas that didn't develop in Jamaica. Man like Dean Burton, Robbie Earl, all of them man they never really did have a chance in the world to play for the country where they did. Dean Burton never ever play for England. Robbie Earl would have never play for England. And it's not to say that it's a scar on us as a country. We're proud of our diaspora. My point is we need this type of stuff because we don't have the facilities and the know-how or the ability to build these type of players in our country. We have to admit that. Why we don't have the facilities?
Kevin.
Yeah, coach.
And listen this thing there.
Yeah.
This is a squad that went to the last Gold Cup, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Leon Bailey, Andre Blake, Brian Brown, Junior Fleming, Malik Foster, Sean Francis, Michael Hector, Amal Knight, Kevin Lambert, Kemar Lawrence, Andre Lewis, Damian Lowe, Tyrese McGee, Darren Mattox, Dwayne Miller, Shamar Nicholson, Ricardo Morris, Deborah Orgill, Alvas Powell, Jamai Topi, Peter Lee Vassell, Javon Watson, Devon Williams. Look here, 99% locally bred players.
Yeah.
99.
But 5 were playing their trade in about 5 of them.
Yeah, but 99% of them were bred and developed in Jamaica. Bred and developed, you know.
That's why as me concerned.
Support. Basically, what you're saying, you know, from reading out that squad,
right,
in the last Gold Cup that went to the final, you're telling me now that there is something in the local league or the local development that can actually develop the player. But what is amiss?
All right, look here.
Because if these players are developed and them going on tournament and then got a final, So what?
No. And develop is relative, and it's along a line. But look here, they were good enough to be seen and spotted and taken from the local leagues and then trained and say, look, we are going to get you inside the national team. And if you look at the makeup of the squad, Maggie came out of Manning Cup like probably a season or two before this. Francis played for I think George's. Hector would have been the only one here, the only one here. Kevin Lambert won the Casa Cup with Glenmuir, I think. Lawrence, Arborview, Alvas Powell, all from St. Thomas. So these boys, Ricardo Morris, Montego Bay, Shamar Nicholson, Boys Town, Dwayne Miller, Arborview, Jevan Watson, Clarendon Sporting Central, Devon Williams, Georges. These boys played most of their lives in Jamaica. Would have gone abroad to, of course, gain some of them garnered, of course, international experience. But I do not want to throw cold water on our local products or on our local leagues. They are good enough footballers in Jamaica. We just need to restructure, reorganize our football, get proper playing facilities, and I can tell you this, and better and more qualified and competent coaches with some of these youngsters, and we are going to start turning out some world beaters around here.
Yeah, coach, I agree with you 100%. Remember, we are not short of talent in Jamaica, And I said that earlier. We're not short of talent. It's just the infrastructure around the talent that is the issue.
And I do agree, and I made mention of it earlier. Because when you look at some of the pitches our guys play, and some of us as spectators have the audacity to go to a match and cuss the people. When they're playing on some of these services abroad, all of them, most of them, you can lock your eyes, brethren, and pass a ball or take a shot. In Jamaica, you better not do that in a brethren. And none of these Premier League surfaces, none of them, So it's unfair sometimes. Sometimes I think we knock our local players a little bit too much. Their salaries are so goddamn low that some of these boys are working, some of them doing security guard work, and then coming to training in the evening and leave and going back to training. Some of these same boys can't even pay them light bill, Can't buy 3 solid meals a day off the salaries they are getting, So I think it's sometimes a little bit unfair to even make the comparison because it's two different worlds.
Yeah, we need to start taking pride in getting these players out of the country and playing elsewhere. Like
earlier,
I was watching the documentary on Eric Bailey on MUFC the other day, right? And you don't need to know where Eric Bailey come from.
Mm-hmm.
To understand like the type of football he needs to play upon gravel until they bring him a Spain, right? Or in country in a war and he not try to get out, and all sorts of different factors that get him out, and him amongst plenty other players like that, right? Get the opportunity to get out and play. I know Ivory Coast have a wide variety of players, right? We mentioned Wilfred Zaha last time we speak. Zaha never had no plans to play for Ivory Coast. But when he realized he couldn't make England side, okay, I know Ivory Coast will embrace him, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the other youth from Everton, who used to play for Arsenal. So the idea that we can get our players at this point, all we can do as a country is get our players to a point where scouts can see them and say, all right, we are going to take it to another level. We don't have the facilities, the infrastructure to get to a point where all our players can play effectively in a Jamaica and still up to today represent the country and bring us to the peak of our powers. So we just have to focus on that.
Yeah. All right. Michael Gordon made a point here. It is not that we cannot do it. It is a lack of will, not the lack of money. As countries poorer than Jamaica have themselves in the World Cup and have their local players playing there. So
tell him to point out one.
You see to Kevin, we tend to underestimate the importance of resources as it relates to football and success.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible. If you look at the first world countries, the big boys in football, Germany, Brazil, Spain, look at their infrastructure and just make the comparison with our infrastructure. It is like Jamaica to African distance. So we tend to underestimate the importance of resources, Virginia. It's key. In the first world countries, those guys are wearing vests. And the vests they are wearing are telling you the amount of water in the system. You never rest last night. You never get enough sleep last night.
Amount of distance covered, the heart.
In training. That is where those guys are at, Virgin. In Jamaica, we're only doing fitness testing. A coach just come and look on a man and say, yo, say, yeah, man, the team ready, the team good.
Yeah, you can control and pass.
So it's hard, Virgin. Let me tell you, I don't even look at it that way. I compare international countries with themselves, Virgin. It's hard to make the comparison with Jamaica. We need to get Jamaica there, yes?
Coach, yes. If we are presenting a product, we have to ensure that our product is up to international standard and on par.
We need resources. We need more money. We need more money. As simple as that. We don't have enough money.
We never accept the mediocrity thing of
my friend said something and touched a good point. What's his name again? Ro said something. It was a damn good point. We need to start exporting our players earlier. Yeah. Having players at 19 and 20 playing money and Black Casa Cup. No schoolboy player in Jamaica who is serious about football. January term should not catch you being 20 in school. Should not.
Yeah.
We should be looking at exposing 15 and 16-year-old in Black Casa Cup competitions and Manning Cups, and then getting these boys out at 17 as quick as possible, Virgin.
17.
And that is how we're going to develop.
From course level, coach, guys, guess what? Man like Pogba go to Manchester United Academy and get him education at 14 years old.
All right then.
So me like a man, them something if you go from course level. Once you go up
then. So 17 is good.
Under 14, you start use the connections. JFF start call up people and say, come look at this youth. Bring him a Blackburn Academy. Take him and his family. Take him and his family carry a Blackburn Academy. Take him go to Sweden. Just like what happened to Leon Bailey, that should be happening across the country.
Yeah, but one of the next thing I believe is the issue is the win it at all mentality with these coaches, These coaches will tell you that they are paid to win the competition, So when it comes on to that is an issue, as well as these players are not taught the ins and outs of football. All I'm interested in doing is to get the players' physical ability up so that they can play some football, impress the crowd, win an MVP, and that's it. So the ins and outs of football is not taught to these players.
Kevin and Ro. Until we fix our infrastructure, and infrastructure includes resources as it relates to field and pitches, one, nutrition. Some of our players, when we finish training, some of our players are going home to probably a little mackerel and rice protein. Versus in other countries where persons are being properly fed as it relates to them right amount of carbohydrates, protein, etc.
Coach, let me stop you there again, because we know that there are some dirt poor countries out there who are turning out international type of footballers.
Why and how?
They're not eating rice and mackerel like
no. Why and how? Why and how? Why? Why are they turning out international footballers?
Let me answer that brother.
Hold on. Why those other countries not? Why they are turning out international players? So we want everything to be perfect.
Look up. No.
Because of the economics of our country, but yet still other countries with economic issues are ensuring that that these players are going out. Some of them have to walk barefoot. When you listen to the Ronaldo story, when you listen to the Messi story, these players didn't have anything.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference with Africa. Let me use Africa as an example. Population size, 1. So, Pogba is from France, but look at Eto'o. Eto'o is one of probably a million boys who tried to make it from Africa in the bridge. But yet still, he made it. It is easier to move players from Africa in the top, as it relates to the top countries in the world that buys football in Europe. It is easier to move them from Africa. Whilst in Jamaica, it is harder. So you find a Jamaican youth having it difficult to break into. All know we can break into England alone because of our ranking. But Africans can easily get there. So it's easier for them. If it was that easy for us, several of our young Jamaican players would have been in academies in England now. I can tell you that.
All right, that's your point. Rome, you say you want to answer the question on screen?
Yeah. It's so this question is.
Hold on, let me read it out. Let me read it out for persons who probably listening. Dude, you're telling me Jamaica so broke they can't build a facility that make professional grade grass to supply the country? That's not a difficult task.
All right. So this question or this comment assumes the premise that all it takes to develop a system where you constantly push out talented players is just build a field with grass and leave it at with good grass and leave it at that. Right? If so be the case, then can easily go down at GC and everybody become a superstar. But that's not the case, because with the facility comes one, maintenance of said facility. Right? It comes employment from different aspects around sports, coaching, physical therapy, all sorts of different stuff to maintain all of those things, right? It also suggests that Jamaica has the capacity or the money to do that across the country. Well, we're just a country of, we're just an island of what, 2 million, a little bit over 2 million with a diaspora of bigger, right? When you look at places like Argentina, you look at places like Brazil, all of those countries that you're saying having financial difficulties, their financial difficulties is totally different from the financial difficulties of a country with 2 million people, as opposed to Argentina, where we have so much more, or Brazil, they have so much more, right? Which means that you have different companies, different areas that are investing into those countries, and furthermore invested into the sport or into football in them countries. Jamaica doesn't have that. So to say that Jamaica have money for build facilities is a smoke screen, not to focus on the other things that's affecting are the reason why we're not able to literally produce these type of players. So I don't know what you think about it, coach, but it's, as you were saying earlier, each country have different difficulties in terms of pulling out certain stars. You can't really compare or ask why is it that Jamaica can make the World Cup and other countries make the World Cup where they even have a footballer and still I get 10 or so in a World Cup, in a one World Cup game. Like South Korea and all them countries. Because qualification is different over there, right? Just like when you look at the World Cup, you see the Olympics, you see some people at the 100 meter make the heat in the first round 100 meter and I run in a men's 100 meter around 12 minutes. And I wonder how we make the Olympics. It's not because of qualification, because I'm country standard, they meet in country standard to make the Olympics. So you make the Olympics. You understand what I say? Different standards for different places. Having qualifying in the CONCACAF is different from qualifying in South Asia. Like Australia make the World Cup almost every year though. Because they play against Japan.
Because the region.
Yeah, it's at the region. So it all depends on where you're located. Jamaica can have the financial capabilities to maintain that at the moment, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. So one of the points Michael Gordon brought up again is that Bolivia goes to World Cup regularly and their GDP is comparable or less than Jamaica.
All right, so if we want to talk about gross domestic product, right? You have to look on population as well. How much people live in Bolivia?
More than with that Jamaica, man.
Way more. So you can't say about, you can't compare Bolivia GDP to Jamaica GDP. There's no way you can, because gross domestic product have a lot to do with your population too. And where population and Bolivia, Bolivia probably rich in other areas too in terms of natural resources. And then they are South America. And when was the last time Bolivia go World Cup?
Good question.
Why you tell me when was the last time Bolivia go World Cup? Because Bolivia they in a comfortable, you know, which we have Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela. So would I like him tell me when was the last time Bolivia go World Cup?
All right, so Dan Fassa, take you on right now in our room. So you have to answer that.
You say. Frasa. Having professional grade grass doesn't necessarily give you anything without any sort of production behind it, right? If you go, the best set of football right now, the best football field we ever play upon at George's High School. You ever go to George's go play football?
Yes, yeah, we play ball upon it.
The best football I play, I want to go to George's High School, right?
Yeah, man.
But if you have George's football field everywhere at Jamaica, but you don't have George's type of organization and management behind it, there's no way the football are going to improve. No way. That's what we can promise you. Like if you get a company to invest a crap ton of money in a fields and different production at Jamaica, but yet still every time the JFF get the opportunity for bringing coaches, get the opportunity to spend money, them take it and put it in their pocket. Where the football are go? Think about it that way means if me and you, right, as past students at GC, go down at GC and invest in a GC sporting and fix up the field, build a stadium around it and make it like a mini national stadium. Yeah? And then at the end of it, the coaching and the principal and everybody at GC wants to plug money in a GC, them to take it and invest it in the right places. Right? Invest in a technology that can improve the players. Invest in a cameras around the stadium so you can see different things and analyze players. Right? Invest in a foreign people or overseas people coming in, looking at the players and getting them over, overseas to play. It's not gonna get anywhere. So talking about just having the grass is like
that is just one of the variables.
It's like building a ship or building a boat and make it stay in a garage, boss. You need to put it on water. A ship not make sense.
Yeah, that is one of the variables. Now, Richard said population size is no excuse. Look at how we do in track. Jamaica should be in the top 15 in the world. Renee Simons also said that. Like I said, football, we're full of talent. You know, understand? But my point is that Rome,
Yeah.
you can't compare track and field, which is oftentimes sport with football that is a team sport. Because if you look at the infrastructure of track and field, you know, right, all levels, competition is there, competitiveness is taking place. In Jamaica, you still have the competitiveness of football. You have the under 13, 14, 16, and under 19. So right through football are play, but which one excel more? Track and field.
There's reason for that. There's reasons for that. The reason why you can't compare football and track and field is because to improve in football, the team needs to improve, right? In track and field is an individual sport. And you say why we excel in track and field? We don't necessarily excel in track and field. We excel in sprinting. Think about it. When last you see a Jamaican win shot put? When last you see a Jamaican win a 400 meter or a 400 meter hurdle? We just recently start winning a long jump. Right? It's because we have the facilities and the know-how and the talent to dominate the 100 meters and the 200 meters, men and women, for 8 years. We haven't been able to do so since, right? So it's not, you can't just say we're not dominating in a track and field. We just have a growth spurt, just like Belgium have a wonderful growth spurt in football right now. Think about it. Belgium football team last year at the Euros was probably the most talented team, and that's just a group of players coming through. We had a growth spurt at track and field, excellent. And granted, we've produced a wholly from Merlin at today's coming up. But track and field has always been an individual sport, bro. One way you can improve on your own with a whole heap of talent, which is what we've been able to produce over the years. Football is totally different. Because all you need for track and field is a track and a spikes and somebody with a whistle.
And I know somebody with a whistle, a competent person.
a competent somebody with a whistle.
Hey, people, they are coming quick and fast. I don't know where to. I'm me alone. Me can't. I don't have ants.
Exactly.
I don't know what is happening, but
I'm first I finally agree on something, brother.
Yeah. All right, see the link there coming up again. Just add the link. We have about 7 minutes because we want to close off. So Rome, can we use this final few minutes to talk about EPL?
Yeah, then I must. Here's one more there. One side near Manchester United dropped 9.
Hey,
if you hear about them, I want team named Manchester United. They play
hold on.
9. Yeah.
Hey, even though I'm happy for the 3 points, I'm not too overly excited about the amount of goals that was scored. Because this league is very fragile.
It's very, very fragile. So you need to be happy about the goal them though. Here why? Goal difference. Because as I said, the league fragile. At the end of the day, we can end up on the same set of points with City. Remember, me still have nightmares from 2011, you know. When we finished the league, tie on points with City and still lose the league, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then for them goal difference is like 7 above it right now, and with a struggle for catching back. So I would say 100% we need to get those goals. I'm happy for the 3 points, without a doubt. But if Liverpool lose Sunday and Man City win, it's going to be a hard road for Liverpool to come back. Although we said that before when we lead them by 6 points. So league very, very fragile. You're right. Not going to lie to you.
So I'm just hoping that this team takes it one game at a time. Not get overly excited because he's sitting pretty, you know.
Yeah.
Liverpool having some struggles right now. Still now Chelsea's on a rise with Thomas. So I mean,
I remember we talked about Tottenham earlier in the season. You know, I say if Mourinho can continue with this type of part-of-us football.
Seriously, Bridget, we're talking about football and you mentioned that, man.
Man, play some. When we used to play Colts, you know, Zane, and you get the ball, you just kick it over the top and just hope so you can get something. You understand? Just bypass the midfield. At that type of football, Mourinho play, right? Just kick it over the top and hope someone can get a glance in there to finish yours and pray for something to happen. And it's really sad that the worst type of football in my play that. Like, Chelsea wasn't that good in terms of the final third yesterday. And Tottenham made them look so good. You understand? Tottenham made them look so good. Liverpool, man, them look tired and void ideas, bro. So it's just a matter of Man City and Man United fight it out. That's what I see.
Well, the coach said they're mentally tired. I wonder if them alone are play football, you know?
It's not here what I'm to, in my perspective, what I'm to Liverpool, right? And I think I said it before, like, I mean, you have the youth named Ryan and the team, and I like to hear what you think about it, but Liverpool has been running under Klopp system for the past 3.5 years. And they did not refresh that team.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the core of the team, the top 3, they didn't refresh it, right? They always wanted them bring in a man like Jota, and Jota injured now, so the team itself tired. And when you run out of when the body got the mind fall like behind it, right? So then the man run out of ideas, and then when you look at, I was thinking about the effect that man like the effect that it might have on the fact that Van Dijk is not there anymore. What effect it have on the team? And I think even though they're not conceding as much now that Van Dijk is not there, they don't have the mental security to go forward. Liverpool play football through the fullbacks, right? Robertson and Trent. And because Van Dijk is not there, they don't have the security to say, all right, if I go forward, I'm okay because Van Dijk is behind me. The man mentally worried that if we push forward, me have Henderson play fullback, or me have Matip play or Fabinho, so I might not be able to defend the thing properly. You understand? So, man, them just score. Sorry, kind of lose track. Manchester United just scored. They'll come on them and play. Anyway, so Liverpool now really have this security for go forward, which is why they're kind of conservative in how they're playing right now, which is exactly why they're losing. And that's just typical to football and to how Klopp have them just running up and down. Michael God, welcome to the thing, man. Go on. Unmute yourself and make you know what you have to say.
Well, thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Hold on, Michael. Hold on. There are some other persons who want to come on, but I'm having a challenge because some unscrupulous. That's why I don't like to put the link in the comment. Because some unscrupulous persons logged down a while ago, and it caused some. You understand what I say? So, sorry about those who want to come on and can't get on right now. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, again, thank you for the invite. It was really a pleasure. And Coach, wonderful job that you're doing with your posting daily. Fourth official, thank you for the great words. And we can always debate about Bolivia being there and also being in New York and everything else and being involved in football. So I can directly tell you that Bolivia spends that money because their officials and government put part of their infrastructure development towards sports, and football is paramount. And that is because they know that football keeps the population together and prevents a lot of riots and a lot of other things. So because of that, they spend their money. They also do a lot of exchange program with coaches from Brazil and Argentina and Uruguay, who are their neighbors. Those are things that I think that Jamaica can do because we have a great diaspora with so many players that have excelled in coaching, have different licenses that are at the top of the game and are in different youth organizations. You just have to go out and look or seek them out. And me doing 7 years with United Nations, I've met Jamaicans everywhere in the world. And they have always expressed, they wanted to come back to Jamaica, wanting to do something for Jamaica in different aspects of it. So it is not that JFF has done a good job or want to do a good job, but they lack the will because a lot of money that comes through JFF and or say FIFA, and there's also money that comes in FIFA grants that are not necessarily publicized. There's United Nations funds with the same organization that I work, a UNDP, for football. So if a person really needs that money, and instead of saying money, start thinking about how you're actually doing it, and put that resource to the different places.
Right. And I get that too, My thing about Bolivia really is think about, you know, a government's money come from its taxes, right? Its population's taxes and stuff. And if you think about the amount of money we pulling in from our taxes, wouldn't necessarily, even though the money, the level of money might be different, wouldn't necessarily compete with Bolivia. But I definitely do understand what you're saying, that we do not have footballing people in Jamaica that loves football as much as other countries does, right? We have an affection to track and field more than we do for football, and it's because track and field has given us over the years so much international recognition that the only thing we've had, the only time Jamaica has really fell in love with football is that night in the National Stadium when we make the World Cup and the world starts singing and everybody starts a reggae boys and all that stuff, right? So for me, if we have people who are in management or in upper management who love the game, managing the money, then of course we'll find smart ways to invest our money, right, into football. And you're absolutely right. But my worry is the more money that start coming into the country from outside sources, or even internally, are these guys going to be putting towards football, or are they just going to pocket it? You see what I'm saying? Will they be taking that money and putting it towards good use or not? That's the worry.
Well, as you see that Jamaica recently was the 47th most corrupt country in the world.
My point
So
exactly. My point exactly. It's difficult to say. Which is why I think like the direction that clubs in Jamaica that are going, like the clubs right now that are going, if we really want to see an improvement in our country and start qualifying in terms of football, we need to start outsourcing our talent, right? We need to stop let schools worry so much about winning Colts or winning Manning Cup, but focus on getting kids the attention they need overseas, right? To start having scouts. Let the JFF convene a committee or a group that have connection with scouts, video compilations, stats report showing the talent that we have in our Colts and Manning Cup system. Get these players out of our system at age 15, 16. And not only that, a lot of these clubs, if they're interested, and we see it with the Pogbas and those guys of the world, they take the parents with them because they can't just take a 14-year-old and carry him go a different country and make him stay, right? So you carry the player and his parents. Before you know it, we have another set of diaspora. What that mean? We have more people who find themselves having opportunities to be out of poverty, having opportunities to work and improving the currency in the country. No, sending money back to Jamaica, improving the currency. So it helps. It goes both ways. It goes in so many different ways that we, as a people, need to start addressing the issues at hand and start sugarcoating it. So going back to the JFF and giving them the responsibility of doing them stuff, right? Going back to the JFF, having young people within these organizations is key, bro. Getting rid of all of them old heads who feel like say them know everything and they really know nothing. You understand? People like you, Michael, and we've been all over the world, we see have different experiences, right?
Well, I'm having a feedback. I'm hearing feedback, so I can hardly hear. But that's okay. I try to keep afloat with what you are saying. And I have always floated the idea that the JFF needs to piggyback with the tertiary institution, utilize these students that are in graduate schools to be part of like marketing. Simple thing. JFF has not even posted a condolence to Luton Shelton as yet.
Exactly.
That's a simple thing, and people in diaspora do want to know about the Reggae Boys. They want to support. They're yearning to support, and yet still they're not given the opportunity to do that. I also see a lacking of leadership in the clubs because the clubs have refused to push themselves forward. And it seems like they're waiting for a handout from JFF or somebody to put their hands out and say, hey, they got thing enough for people. And we need to be self-sufficient. Look forward. That myopathy should be dropped. And that means we need to get on the ball and market ourselves as clubs. There's nobody selling any Cavaliers club in the United States like that. I
Exactly.
can't buy any club jerseys. I can't buy anything. They're not marketing the faces or of players on jersey. They have Sunday games. They don't have box seats for like a good 50 or 100 patrons. They don't have any like ice cream way of getting kids to
I
be
feel like
part
it's,
of the team.
brother, I feel like it's ludicrous that me as a man grew up in Jamaica in the early 90s, 2000s, in the late early 90s, 2000s, can't go up on a JFF website and purchase a 1998 Walter Boy jersey. You understand what I say? Me can't find a Instagram, a Facebook, a Snapchat, JFF webs, social media page where we can go up and say, yeah, these are the picture. Look at Walter Boy when them Jamaica qualified. This was when Robbie Earl scored the goal in our World Cup. Me can't see them something there as a Jamaican we want to follow Jamaican football. You understand? If they really want money, them can make money. All it needs is just somebody to go in. As I said, speak to the tertiary institution. If you are a social media expert, yeah, and you get people willing to do some marketing and identify certain things, like them can without a doubt get people to make certain jerseys, right? Where you can go on the website and buy. Would I love to buy a Jamaica jersey right now?
Real talk, yeah, brother.
Would I love to do it?
Again,
Would I love to follow JFF by Instagram?
again, like I'm saying, this is one thing again. We're having a COVID situation right now. And where is the leadership to lobby the CVMs, the TVJ? We have One Spot Media. You have CEEN in New York, New Jersey. Where are they to come together and form a conglomerate or an agreement for even the shortened season and just televise these games? There is enough interest with people to pay even $1. We can call it a exercise to lift Jamaica game and say use that $1 subscription, pay workers or whatever that it is, but it also goes back to the development of the Jamaican Football League.
All right, people. I like the robust discussion that is taking place. But guess what? We only have about 6 minutes to go before we close off today's show. So big up to Michael. I must commend Michael. He has always been commenting on the videos that we drop on the coach's desk. Big up to Michael. Thank you for your input. It was always appreciated. And we really realize that you have some insights. You're hungry for this. You have a lot of information to share where the economic section of football is. And people like you definitely would want to get in contact with the powers that be to influence them in a way where you can assist them in terms of giving them ideas on the economic section. So kudos to you, Michael. I know some other persons have also been sharing some pretty good information. You have a Jam Palmer, we have a Burrell Dunn, and a lot more persons. We're gonna close off the show now. We have another 5 minutes. Any closing words? Rome, is that 3-1 over there for United?
Is there a what now?
Is that 3-1 over there for United?
No, say a 6-4 for United. Manchester United under 23 team playing.
Really?
Blackburn under 23 team.
And
It's been a up and down game.
Diallo is burning up the place.
Yeah, they were leading. Blackburn were leading 1-love, 2-1, 3-2, and then Manchester United just fly past them. 6-4. So the young players are playing real good and scoring. So the game is really nice.
Yeah, man.
Like, yeah.
Any final thoughts you want to share? Before
People can find me at the Fourth Official on YouTube. We just talk about football in general, mostly geared towards Manchester United.
Well, I would just like to say thank you for the invite, and also to all the diaspora, and everyone that tune in to Coach's Desk. Continue posting, and that, Coach, you're doing a wonderful job. Quite a bit of news in sports. We can't wait for track and field. Like I said,
Yeah.
young prospects that are coming up in the female ranks. It is going to be spectacular, and we can't wait for more of this during the Olympics. I'd love to be a part of the
Yes.
panel as it relates to track and field.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man. The thing I got big, man. The thing I got big. Thank you very much. Rome, we're going to put you out, you know. I know you did have something else to say.
I said, just the Fourth Official. Can find me on the Fourth Official. We talk about Manchester United and football, Premier League, different leagues around the world. So bless up on yourself. Stay safe. Not this time here. So wear a mask. All right, manners.
All right. So thanks again to everyone that tuned in today to the show. We spoke about Demarai Gray to Bayer Leverkusen, and if Leon Bailey would influence him, and also the impact no sport is having on our local sports personalities. We want to big up Coach Thomas, who was on earlier. He had to leave. Big up Fourth Official. Big up Michael Gordon. Big up everybody who came on to share their thoughts in the comment section. Big ups. And of course, tomorrow we'll be on again. I'm not certain of the time, but definitely tomorrow Coach's Desk will be on live again. We're going to blow up this place and we're going to talk some more sports. Big up on yourself, everybody.
Manners.
All right.